Good day, everybody. How are you? Well, I thought I'd give a try of a walking podcast. So Michelle and I are somewhere in the woods. It is a beautiful sunny day here in the UK, and we are enjoying our walking. We wish we could see the sun. We've been in the woods for quite some time, but at least it's clement. There's no rain, and the mud underfoot is slippy, but not too bad. We hope you are all having a wonderful time. I was just thinking and musing this morning, as my brain often does, about the world and all the nonsense that's going on, and the tit-tatting between sort of one regime and the next, and just how divided nations seem to be, so very much split down the middle, no common ground at all, and how that sort of bitterness builds up between different people. I really have seen many examples of that over the last few years, which troubles me a lot, because we have so much more in common than we have that divides us. And whilst I am particularly anti-government, and particularly big government, and I see the damage they do, sometimes in life, just get out of it. Just move yourself into a situation where those people can trouble you as little as possible, and don't be subservient to the system. And that's a little bit what Michelle and I are doing today as we try to get round. Are you all right, Michelle? Get around this mud. Whoops, a little bit slippy. We just live outside the system and live each day as if it were your last, or perhaps plan your life to be not so restricted by what you hear and what you see, and how you should be behaving and how you shouldn't be behaving. Deep down, everybody knows deep down just how they should be, even in these sort of tough and uncertain. Ow, stinging nettle caught me under the arm, that one, Michelle, so that'll sting for a while. Even with these times of great uncertainty, you don't have to be forced and sort of corralled by people that technically shouldn't have any say at all as to how you live your life. But if you do what's in your mind, follow what your thoughts are telling you, and I think this is, ultimately we all have a little internal voice that tells us what we should be doing and how we should be behaving towards one another. Excuse me, this is pretty that's quite boggy, that one, Michelle. You okay?
I watch where you go and don't stand in the same footprints.
Oh, when I slip, you mean? Yeah, that's pretty boggy. So, where was I? There's a little voice inside every one of us that tells us that we shouldn't be shouting at somebody out in a car if they cut you up the wrong way, getting angry with someone because they don't vote the way that you vote. At the end of the day, this is the system that's there to try and keep us under control. This is the one that needs to marginalise different groups. We are all the same, whatever colour, creed, religion or background we are. At heart, every child is born good, without any malice or meanness or sort of tribal or anger that is seeded in us only as we get older and grow up. So I thought I'd have a little chat with you today. This is my first attempt at a walking podcast. To the left of me is a rolling field, something that would remind you perhaps of the Hobbiton from Lord of the Rings. Beautiful, open, and I'm in the sun.
You are in the sun, that's why you stopped, I know.
Just come out of the sun. I'm going to have a little slurp of water and I will be right back. Just give me 1 second. There are cows in that field mooing away. The path is endless, it seems, today, but good path. We had a small section on road which was a bit tricky, but it was barely 100 meters. We've seen very few people out today. It is the first day of what is a United Kingdom lockdown, whatever that means and whatever ridiculous sort of thought that went behind it. So it is the first day of that, so technically people of the United Kingdom should not be out. We see this as an essential walk. We have no other option. If we were to be stopped, we are walking home. You see, you can break rules. There's an old saying, you know, rules are there. My father used to say this frequently, but rules are there for the guidance of fools, and they're not meant to be for intelligent people. Smart people are not meant to follow rules. We know what is right and what is wrong. So rules are put there in order for fools to know what they shouldn't be doing. Now, unfortunately, when the rules that are in place allow fools to become in power, then we have a bit of a problem. But again, a lot of these rules that they're making up for us are there for the guidance of fools, and you should determine for yourself whether or not you should be out and about, and if you need to, you should fight it to the last straw. Okay, it's getting a bit hilly now. We're going up fairly steep, and occasionally you might hear my GPS jump in and sort of tell me which way to turn. It barely knows where we are, but it often gets it near to right. Michelle and I have been walking now for close to 20 weeks, 19-20 weeks since we left the north of Scotland.
For close to 11 weeks. I think
11 weeks. That's what close to 11 weeks.
close to 11 weeks.
I'm lucky I've got her with me. I'd be somewhere in Ireland by now if Michelle wasn't with me. So we'd be walking close to 11 weeks. Of course, 3 months is our projection to do the entire walk, and we're finding that we get fitter and fitter with every day. It doesn't make these hills any easier, but I suspect in the first week I'd struggle to talk to you and produce a little podcast holding my phone while going up something that's probably about 30 degrees, rocky, very rocky, and covered in winter leaves, and looks like it might have been the base of a river at one time. But I can do it now with ease, and I won't stop at the top to get my breath back. We'll get our breath back on the flat. And Michelle, you're pretty much the same, aren't you?
I'm with you, a bit more out of breath, but I'm still with you.
I don't think you're more out of breath. She's she's about the same. But then I am yakking, and that's one thing I do very well. For those of you who might wonder, this is pretty much how I talk anyway when I'm walking along. That's why I decided to do a podcast. This morning I've done a live Facebook video. I had a 45-minute chat with my mother back in Australia, and I've constantly talked to Michelle about the meaning of life and what have you. So what else can I add, Michelle? What I will do is ask you to let me know if you like this little chatterbox. It's without video, so you don't have to see my mucky, greasy skin or my dreadful hat hair. I hope you are well wherever you are. I hope you're living your life to its fullest. Please do. And for any of you want to support the walk, the channel, you can always join us on patreon.com/Steve's Kitchen. Is that correct, Michelle? All one word. Yes. And any support, or if you want to buy us a coffee or something to eat or drink, on paypal.me/thankssteve. It's always welcome. Love to you all. It's about a 10-minute little podcast. Tell me what you think. Michelle and I
We'll see you, talk to you soon.
Bye bye.